at the Collation Center in Bayelsa, where he was giving us updates as to why INEC decided to move collation to tomorrow. And he said it's because of logistics challenges, where results, I think it's Brass that has about 4 hours on water to get to the capital, and that hasn't happened yet. And then there's also Southern Ijaw, where elections still took place today because of what happened there yesterday. And so all of those results will be collated tomorrow, hopefully at noon. And then we'll also bring you live pictures whilst those results are being collated. But let's get back to our conversation with Chris Nwandu, who is a journalist and chartered arbitrator. He's also the publisher, CKN News. All right, I had to just bring that in.
I knew you were going to bring it in.
I just had to. I've been holding on to it. I'm like, it's time to drop it.
It's okay.
All right, so we're talking, but before we get back to our earlier conversation, let's just get your thoughts on what our correspondent just said. Collation has now been moved to noon tomorrow, Bayelsa, because of that logistic challenges. INEC said they have to wait for 4 hours. But one wonder if arrangements could have been made earlier, just so that you can have those results today.
Yes, arrangement could have been made, but the fact is that most of them are not. We say, oh, Bayelsa is the smallest state in Nigeria. It's just 8 local governments here. You need to go to Bayelsa and understand the terrain. There are some places in Bayelsa that you have to be in the boat for 6 hours. Same thing even in some parts of River State and some of parts of the South. So if for whatever reason, they've not been able to get those results from there, we can wait. We can wait. They can still wait till tomorrow. But I also think that if we start deploying technology, as it's supposed to be, I don't think we'll have to wait until you bring result sheets from one part of the state, taking about 6-7 hours, and rest of technology. The essence of technology is real-time information. It can be done, which is why I still believe and I still hope that we should continue to invest in INEC to be able to be. In fact, for goodness sake, United States election, general election, you've forgotten that the Americans in Nigeria vote before the election. They vote. They don't travel to the US to vote. They are given opportunity to vote before the day of the election. And they do that. Even other countries. If we are going to go beyond what we are doing presently, I am also thinking of diaspora voting. There are so many Nigerians outside.
Their collation also takes a while, but you see how the media reports it in real time as it is coming. They're calling it for each state in the general election.
There's a forecast. I'm telling you that before they finish counting, they have already. You see them. They call the result. They say, oh, we project.
Yes.
That so. That is technology. You say, oh, when they've looked at it, they say the margin of what is left. Yes. When you compare to the votes cast, they say, we project. So TVC project. You should start projecting. TVC should start projecting. Other media houses should be able to have that technology and be able to be embedded within INEC and be able to say, oh, we project that. So we won't be having that. Say, oh, we must wait for INEC to announce.
Centers.
We must wait for countries have gone beyond that. That you have to wait for INEC until INEC announce the result. How many times do you wait for the US wait for INEC to announce the result before you get the result? You get the result this time, which is why you see the US having an election today within 24 hours. In fact, we go to sleep and they are voting. By the time we're waking up in the morning, you start seeing the result coming in. And so that is what we need to do. But under what we are doing, I still do it that our so-called, in as much as to say we've gone beyond it, I still look at what we are doing as being analog system. If that is what is going to work for us, all well and good. Let us wait till tomorrow. But the topography within Bayelsa, it is so terrible. The same thing with Delta and some of that. There are some places within the creeks, even in Delta State, that will take about 5 hours to be able to get in and out. Escavors, if you have listened to Escavors, if you know where LNG is, and you'll be able to move from maybe Port Harcourt to where energy, it take hours. So Bayelsa may look small.
Shouldn't we be fixing our network issues before we start to think of going fully digital?
Yes.
With our elections? Because in some states, and we're having this conversation earlier with our previous guests, in some states, You know, and sometimes even within, let's even talk about Lagos. You know, you can be driving on the road 1 minute, you have network, and then you just a short few minutes distance, you know, it just goes off.
Yes.
And then if you're watching something or you're listening to something, you see that it's buffering because there is no network. So shouldn't that be a primary focus now to ensure that you know that is up to par before we start thinking of going digital?
I totally agree with you, but for us to do that, there must be a convergence between INEC, the telecom companies, NCC, and all those that have stakeholders in that industry. Don't forget that before the general election, there was this time that was said that we had this conversation on whether results can be easily transmitted from certain parts of the country. And it took the intervention of the NCC to come and say, oh no, our network got out to that place, it can be done. But what happened at the end of it all, especially within the presidential election, we saw the glitches we had here and there. The way forward is technology. We cannot continue to. For goodness sake, I don't need to. In some countries, you don't need to go and queue for hours to be able to vote. From your phone, you can do that. You just vote. And some countries, they don't declare public holidays. Ghana don't declare. Here, when we're going to have an election, we declare public holiday. The police will come out and say there is restriction of movement from 12 p.m. that night till 4. Economic activities come to a standstill. Is that how to progress? Do you have to shut down the airport? You have to shut down roads? You have to stop people from moving just because of election?
Is our situation not also peculiar when you consider the security implication of saying everybody can move? It's like you're saying, look, everybody can have access to the polling unit without even when you don't have a PVC.
We already have security. We already have security personnel. We have the police. The police have a staff membership of about 350,000 as we had. We brought the military into the midst, not being at the police center, but at least to be able to take care of security within the vicinities in and around. We have the DSS. We have the civil defense. Even road safety are part of the security. It's not that they are core, but they have role to play. The movements. What are we talking about? This thing we can be able to do. And coming to this, as I said, this is an off-cycle election. Only 3 states out of 36 states. We are looking about 5.1 million voters. Of course, we should be able to handle that. Security will be able to handle. We should be able to handle that effectively. I still continue to say that we cannot continue going this way, that we have to shut down Oshodi market. We have to shut down Ariara market. We have to shut down Onitsha market. We have to shut down the big market. You have to stop me from moving. Let's look at this. They say only those on essential duties can move. Journalists like us and some other people, doctors. But there have been instances, even when the doctor is moving on a day like this, security agents challenge them. I'm sure you must have seen some of those things. If somebody falls sick and is under emergency situation, the possibility of the person dying is very, very high because of these restrictions. What am I saying in essence? I think we can find a more dynamic. Yes, Nigerians. People are saying, oh, Nigeria is peculiar. How peculiar did God create us different from others? Is it not the same brain we have?
I almost want to say yes, but go ahead. Very peculiar, but it's fine.
You throw stone, no? You throw stone, no? But seriously, we are not. This is, I still say that with a number. Nigerians are one of the best set of human beings in the world. I'm telling you, go outside and see how we excel. Technologically, in the media, How come
but in terms of creativity and intelligence, give it to us. Hard work, give
it to us. Of course. Look at our music industry. Look at our movie industry. The best in Africa. Why is it that you send some police? We say, oh, Nigerian police is bad. But send Nigerian police out on international mission. They come out the best. So there must be something fundamental about us that we are not getting right away. And that is why you continue to ask, where is the problem? Is it that of leadership or followership? That's a discussion that today we have not been able to settle.
It's like the case of the chicken and the egg. Which
comes first?
It's just intertwined.
Exactly.
But going back to Bayelsa, this kind of situation, we saw all of the rhetorics and some of the attacks in Bayelsa, and then the tension at the collation center whilst results were being collated. What kind of scenario could this create in the state with this kind of delay?
The election in Bayelsa is a two-horse race between a former governor and a sitting governor. We're matched, as it were. We're matched. And I believe that, just as your reporter Uche said, 6 of the local governments have been declared, I believe, remaining about 2 local government area. I don't think there will be much of tension. Everybody within Bayelsa would have seen the pattern. Whether those 2 local government will make a difference is what we don't know. But that was what I said before, if the people are satisfied with the process, if they are satisfied with the process, the possibility of engaging and demonstrating and the rest of them wouldn't come to play. Everybody has, because what we've come to realize that our politicians are self-centered. Most of our politicians, not all. The primary responsibility of a politician or trying to elect a person is to serve. It's not your personal interest. And if the primary essence is to serve, then your interest will be to the people that you're supposed to serve. It's not about you. If your people say that, come out, we don't want you as our governor, oh, well and good. But even during our primary school days, when they choose class captain,
everybody aligns.
You see, everybody aligns. In secondary school, the same thing. Although even when they choose this class captain in secondary school, he has his own people.
Oh, absolutely.
You remember when they used to say,
never in the list
that is it. You remember when they say noisemakers, those that spoke vernacular.
Exactly.
You always see that his list, his personal friends, we can never see his friends as noisemakers. So that is within that level. But the same thing, political. But I believe that there shouldn't be much of attention. Let INEC do what it needs to do. Let it be as transparent as it is. Let the security agencies also seem to be impartial. You understand? Because that is where the problem is. Just a few days, just before the election, there was protest in Bayelsa. Women were tear gassed, protesting, redeploy the CP. I'm sure you must have seen that and the rest of them. Probably because of some of them feel that they don't have confidence. But with what has happened so far, I don't think there's been anything untoward within Bayelsa that could raise any kind of tension.
There was protest for and against. Some were saying leave him. Some were saying take him out. But there was a response from, I think it was the DIG, who said, look, it's only the IGP who has that right to redeploy, and he hasn't spoken on that.
Yes, because the story is that he was redeployed and redeployed or reinstated. Or like what happened in my state of Imo. The CP was redeployed because some political parties complained and some other things. Probably also because of the problem that Ajero had and the rest of them. He was redeployed. And we just thought that after the election, the IGP came out before the election to just say, and appoint a substantial CP for Imo State. That, to a large extent, does that.
But their own reason in Bayelsa State was more, because I listened to one of the women who was speaking. She said that they think he's tired.
Tired.
I'm just
yes, I'm telling you.
They think he's tired because of some of the attacks they've seen in the state. Now, in that particular case, how should they, because it's a matter of, we have seen a lot of attacks, we think he's tired, maybe he should be redeployed, and somebody who can deal with the issues brought in. This is not a case of, bipartisanship or high-handedness. How should the IGP had reacted to that?
It is within the right of the IGP to appoint and redeploy. If he feels that the man there is doing a good job, and he feels that he's following to the letter the code of conduct that was given to him as a senior police officer, no matter the level of complaint. It doesn't have, yes, opinions matters, people, but don't also forget, you also have to look at those that are complaining. Are they complaining for the real fact that they are complaining, or because they are political? Because you can bring some political this thing into it. Before that, there were instances where the CP was accused of taking and stationing certain policemen to certain local government, which some party members felt that was against them, and there were so many arrests and arrests. But the fact remains that hasn't been able to deliver on his job. Going through this process of election, I don't see where the CP, I don't see where he has fought that. I may be wrong. I've not seen anything untoward so far. There's not be somebody has come out to say, the police we are biased in this election, this particular election. Oh, they have been able to protest certain individuals, or they've done this, or they've not done that. To the best of my knowledge.
But generally, in the 3 states, how do you assess security and then security agencies?
Let me start with my states. Perfect. I'm satisfied. I was, you know, everybody has been saying, oh, Imo State is going to be the epicenter of violence and the rest of them. Good enough, I was in Imo State last week, upper week. There was a conference, the Senior Police Officers Conference, from the ranks of CP to the IG. The police had its annual conference and retreat in Imo State for 4 days, for 3 days. I was there. I was one of the editors that were invited. And part of the discussion was that how the election went. And the IGP came out to say that if you are a troublemaker, don't come to Owerri. If you're a troublemaker, don't come to Bayelsa. If you're a troublemaker, don't come to Kogi. We are fully ready. And there was so much tension in Imo. In fact, within that period, in the course of that conference, that was when the issue of Ajero, it was within that period that Ajero was beating black and blue in Owerri, which so many people condemned, including myself, condemned totally, because the right to protest has been provided by the Constitution. The 1999 Constitution has amended, and the issue of protest has also been settled at the Supreme Court, up to the Supreme Court. You don't need any police permit to protest as a Nigerian. Anywhere, you don't need any police permit. It was in those days that you didn't get, I remember in those days of Ghanese, when we were in secondary school, when Ghanese family, we joined, and at Yaba, police will stand, Mopo people will stand and raise and say, you cannot move. That has been taken care of, and that has been settled. What the law says is that if there are going to be protests, police should be around to be able to make sure that everybody that's within that are well protected. It is the duty of the police. But if at any given time it sees that it is getting out of control, because why the police also, security agencies used to get afraid of this, that they believe that hoodlums at times capitalize. You can start a protest. You don't know how it will end. We saw what happened with NSAS. But whether somebody will protest or not is. But if I'm going to score the Nigerian police so far in this election, as far as the issue of Kogi, Bayelsa, and Imo is concerned, I'll score them over 70%. They've done.
I think it was Kogi State. There was a video where a
particular police officer, was
he was accused of helping to snatch.
Exactly.
I think it was result sheets or something, and the police, had responded saying they're going to investigate that particular matter.
Yes.
But in that case, that's just one.
It's an isolated
case. What do you think could have happened in that particular case, and how should the police handle that?
It could have been anything. First and foremost, you have to determine whether the guy is actually a policeman. There are instances where politicians could knife certain individuals and give them uniform. At the end of it all, you see them moving around on election days.
You think that
of course, yes, the impersonation happens. So the first and foremost is for the police commissioner in that state to determine whether the guy is actually a policeman. If it's determined that he's a policeman, what was he doing? Was he supposed to be at the police station? Because if you are going to be part of the election, everybody was given a tag. You see them, everybody, even journalists. Every one of us had a tag. So if you have no tag, then you don't need to be. Then if that was you not determine also whether he was used by policemen. Some people can be induced. And that's why I say everybody has a price. So the price, I was saying it there. I said you have to, exactly. So they must have determined his price and say, okay, oh boy, I don't know how much you are being paid for this job or whatever. Okay, we'll double whatever you get. Or you help us to carry. But the mob action is nothing new in Nigeria. Instances in Lagos, anybody can just say, ole, and before you know it, you'll be mobbed and killed. Only to realize what's happened to just a lawyer, a female lawyer in Lagos few weeks back that wanted to go and looking for a house and got to the place and was just asking questions. The next thing, somebody just shouted that she has kidnapped a small boy within the compound, and the boy disappeared. And they started beating this. I'm talking of a female lawyer here in Lagos. She was almost lynched until the kind of intervention came, and the police came around. And before you knew it, this small boy appeared. The little boy, they said that, and everybody dispersed. I would have expected that police, whether they made some arrests and rest of them, so as to teach a lesson There have been instances now, what you've seen that is going on over now. And that is why everybody is being careful. Oh, my destiny is missing. Once you hear, I'm sure you must have heard that. My destiny is missing, my destiny is missing, people gather around, start beating. They won't even want to listen to you. The mob action is out. So under that circumstances, with that of the policeman, it's just an isolated case. I think that can be properly investigated. And if the guy is found wanted, then the current police IG, as we have it, and even the guy before him, the one before him, have done a lot in bringing some level of discipline into the police force. And that is where people, when the National Assembly say, oh, we need to amend the social media law. Oh, we need to deal with those issues. We need to deal with bloggers and the rest of them. So many things that are coming to place because of social media. Citizen journalism. You are beating somebody somewhere. You don't know. Look at what happened at one of the universities just a few days ago. Remember, you saw what happened, where a lecturer was practically punching a student. It is a student in that class that just used his phone and recorded, and they went viral. Before the advent of social media, you won't see that. And that will be spent. So most of the things happening now is because of the advent of social media. It has its positive and negative side. Absolutely. But the aspect I so much like is where the police now are looking at and dealing with some of their men. They are misbehaving. Some of them have been reprimanded. Some of them have been dismissed. There have been so many instances. My good friend, Muyiwa Adijobi, whose birthday was yesterday anyway. Well, happy birthday, Muyiwa. Very nice guy. So that you will see him every time. Oh, we have arrested social people. Even the police are using the social media as possible. Every time Muyiwa is always tweeting. Go to this thing, go and make a report. The same thing with the guy in Lagos, Benjamin, what's his name? Udeyin. They respond to. I'm sure you must have seen that real time. They are bringing policing closer, and that is what we've been saying in the past. An average Nigerian shouldn't just be looking at see a policeman and think that this one, I don't know the difference between this one and those other bad people, and take off. Because there must be a connect. The essence of policing, as it is seen over the world, is that people should be free and feel comfortable in sending information to you. You get to the UK now, and you'll be shocked that you get to somewhere that you're not familiar with and start moving around. One old woman, 80-year-old woman would have been sitting by her window and be watching. This guy, what is it? The next thing he die, and police appears and say, gentlemen, you know, that information was given in confidence. That information cannot be traced to the old woman. You won't even believe that it was an old woman that in that vision. The question you ask yourself, here, do we also instill that kind of confidence, where people can willingly come out and give information to security agencies without being stressed to them, because there have been instances where such as stress are said to them, and before you get to the police station, the person where they talk about already. So those are issues. But for the issue of the policeman, as I said, I think that should be, but it's an isolated thing. I'll still repeat that the security agencies, not just the police alone, all the security agencies that were involved in this off-cycle election have done excellently well.
I will continue with you on security, because a lot of people think that, look, the police have been used in terms of compromising the process of election. I will continue, in that conversation.